everybody, we were able to pull money out. I was able to pull money out. I started small, put in, pulled out. It was like, okay, it worked. Then we went heavier. It comes with money when opportunities come. Like, people present you with things. When you get money, people present you with so many different opportunities that you could never imagine. I don't believe if somebody do something for you, then you can't duplicate it yourself. It's always a risk. If you're not willing to lose it, and it's a gamble, if you ain't willing to lose it, don't put it up. You start making money, your circles change, the opportunities change, and you start thinking like, yo, like I start looking like, yo, is this the Illuminati? Like, yo, is this really what rich people do? Like, do rich people, like, y'all be getting these kind of opportunities once you get this kind of money? Like, is this really how it flows?
Marcus, aka Mr. 500, let's go!
Anything you want in this world is dependent on. Everybody wants to be wealthy. Everybody wants to get money, but why? I did 25 million the last 2 years. I come from nothing. You gotta move the earth. You gotta take action. You gotta act. Some of y'all are scared. The rooms that I was in, when you start making money, you see other people making money, and this is part of therapy. When I tell people like, yo, this is wealth therapy, like at its finest, because do you make mistakes? Do you overjump the gun and you get into, you start making money, your circles change, the opportunities change, and you start thinking like, yo, like I start looking like, yo, is this the Illuminati? Like, yo, is this really what rich people do? Like, do rich people, like, y'all be getting these kind of opportunities once you get this kind of money? Like, is this really how it flows? These are the things that I always look at, and I'll be like, yo, like, I look at it and I learn from it. And that was one of the things that I learned from the biggest thing that I learned and took away from like this situation. I'm gonna move on. The biggest thing I learned from this situation is that, you know, one, you always do your due diligence. My thing is that everybody, we were able to pull money out. So I was able to pull money out. I started small, put in, pulled out. It was like, okay, it worked. Then we went heavier. So my thing is that I just looked and I grew from it. I learned from it. And what happens is that you get to see things happen, and we hear stories about like Bernie Madoff and all of these other stories about people who raise all this capital. And I'm one of the ones who don't believe. The reason I never like put my people into it is because I don't believe if somebody do something for you, then you can't duplicate it yourself. It's always a risk. So if you're not willing to lose it, and it's a gamble, if you ain't willing to lose it, don't put it up. What I had put up, tested out, I was willing to lose. The 200 I lost, I was willing to lose it. I wouldn't have never even spoke on it because I knew what I was getting into and I was willing to lose it. Only reason I spoke on it because now it came out and it was like, yo, I lost money in the deal, and then you're gonna make it like I see my name come up on the video, and I say, yo, I'm not one of the people, but I think they just looking for other people to kind of tie it to, but I'm not him. So I'm not one of the ones that'll get tied into that situation. But this is what comes with the name, right? Because I had money and I was a bigger player and I had more money to invest, I rank up at the top of the list and of people who invested in the accounts, the larger accounts that were, you know, on the platform. Some of y'all probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but if you go look up CoffeeZilla, CoffeeZilla did a thing on Trader's Domain, was the investment account, but it's on CoffeeZilla. Go to CoffeeZilla, look that up. It's a mess, but it comes with money when opportunities come. Like, people present you with things. When you get money, people present you with so many different opportunities that you could never imagine. So that's on the business side. But on the family side, they present you with opportunities. And one thing that I realized is that I had a real deep conversation with my family and some of my friends. And one of my friends, I had a conversation when we were talking about family. And in that conversation, I'm like, yo, bro, we made it to a point where we got money and we're working, we understand our impact, we understand what we're doing this for. And now that you're the one that's successful, it's like, what you grinding for? He like, bro, I don't never want to go back to the hood. And I said, in that moment, I realized like, yo, I don't want to be grinding and out here working to never go back to the hood. I said, our mindset got to change. I said, because we start hustling with the wrong mindset, and our vision is that we don't want to go back there, versus grinding because we're comfortable where we're at and start adjusting and understanding that this is where we're going to be for the rest of our life and further. Like, this is now got to be your foundation. This has to be your ground level. And a lot of times, once we make it out of those struggling times, those rough times, is that we grind in our main focus and motivation is we don't want to go back. And I don't want you guys to, as we talk about like therapy, like, yo, it's hard to go, yo, I don't ever want to go back to driving this. I don't ever want to go back to being homeless. I don't ever want to go back to sleeping in the car. That could be your driving factor. But once you get to a certain point, I want you guys to always be in that mindset of like, yo, let's get comfortable where I'm at. And I don't want to deal with the traumas from my past, because those hard times are traumas. I know we say, oh man, it's trying. And you know, that's what made me. It's like, yo, that's what motivated you and maybe put a battery in your back. But understand is that those traumas also hinder you forever. And one of the things I don't ever want to do is be hindered by my traumas. And that's what made me realize at that moment, I was helping my family wrong. I thought getting money would help my family get to a better position, because if you make money, you can get your family to a better position. And I remember just, you know, I'm thinking, oh man, if I give you some money to do that, you'll be good. If I give you some money to, you know, if I buy you a car, you'll be good. If I just loan you some money to start a business, like, you're going to be good. And what I realized is that the traumas and the things that they had to overcome that nobody talked about. So one of my cousins, I had an opportunity for him to come to Atlanta. It was BET weekend, and he was coming to Atlanta, and I explained to him, I said, look, bro, I got a gig for you. I need you to fly out. He didn't want to tell me no, right? So you're not going to tell me no, like, yo, man, he like, I'm coming. So he like, all right, bet, book my flight. I'm like, I'm gonna book your flight, hotel. You good when you come, let's go. It's me and you. I got 2 passes. You gonna rock with me. I got some introductions I need to make for you. And it's a paid gig. Come on. He didn't want to tell me no. So instead of telling me that he never got on an airplane before, this dude decides to get high, take shots, and then get to the airport, told somebody he was nervous. And when he told them he was nervous, they said, oh, just take ZQL or some melatonin. They told him to take melatonin to help knock him out. So you high on weed, you then took 3 shots of alcohol, and then you took melatonin. I get a phone call. The lady is like, some lady called. She was like, hey, your cousin was sitting next to me on the plane. They kicked him off the plane. I'm like, why they kick him off the plane? She was like, he was kind of out of it, like a little delusional. I don't know what was happening, but he gave me your phone number, said, if anything happened, call you and tell you what happened. And I'm confused. So I'm like, none of this makes sense. I'm like, yo, bro, like, I give you the opportunity. I'm hot, right? Like, I'm upset. Like, I'm disappointed. Like, yo, bro, I give you opportunity. You're supposed to be coming in a few hours. We got plans, and I'm counting on you to be with me. And I already. So I'm calling his phone. He don't answer. I'm like, yo. I call my cousins. I start calling back home, calling my aunts. So his girl ends up going looking for him. A few hours later, they find him. He called her phone. He was asleep in the bathroom. Once they kicked him out the airport, he went in the bathroom and went to sleep. By the time I talked to him, I'm upset. Understand, I'm upset. Relationship is done. I'm not rocking with you. It's not like you're a disappointment. I'm done. He was like, bro, I never flew before. I felt like you was testing me. And I was like, man, I'm a fly. He was like, but I thought you was being funny, like making me fly. And you was just like making me fly, bro. I was nervous. I didn't want to tell you I never flew. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come. He was like, bro, I've never been on an airplane before. That's another realization moment that I realized, is that whenever I give somebody an opportunity thinking I'm gonna put some money in your pocket, I'm now invested into everything that come with you, and every drama and in any trauma and any lack thereof that you have now becomes my problem. And at that moment, that became my problem of him not being able to fly. So now I'm looking at YouTube videos with him, kind of just like, yo, get on a plane. Now, you know, we coach, and we had to go through that whole flying situation of him getting comfortable flying. And I had to overcome that with him. When I look at some of my other family members and I think like, yo, I'm thinking to myself, if I did this for you, you should be good. But it's like, what traumas do they got from their past that's not allowing them to go out and not speak to people? I got one of my uncles, and he told me something. He said, bro, I could talk to you all day, but I get nervous when I talk to white people. And I'm just thinking like, yo, I know what it's like from experience to gain success. And I tasted it, and I see it, and I feel it. So I know what it takes. But I know at this point it's not easy, but I know it's obtainable if I work at something for long enough that I can overcome it and that I can make it happen. But when people don't got the belief that they can overcome it or make it happen, it's not real. And then you don't know what things that are triggering or holding them back.